top of the world. Get ready to tell him. Now is my time. Now is my time.
Sparkle smash, big time job.
It's the time, it's the place.
Oh my goodness!
So you're right on my tail.
And Zach Garner is gonna get the racing win.
The time is right. Now is the time and we here to fight. I came here to ride or to die, to be right on the top of this mountain. It's
Entrenched in the beautiful Arizona desert landscape, State Farm Stadium welcomes thousands of Monster Jam fans for round 11 with Stadium Championship Series West. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Monster Jam Primetime. I'm Scott Jordan alongside Adam Enticknap. The chase for the championship continues to be the talk of the town on this series, and Adam Anderson has reestablished himself as a competitor, Adam, with back-to-back event wins in Tampa.
I mean, Scott, I don't know if I would say Adam Anderson reestablished himself. He's always in the fight. But one of the big problems that Adam Anderson has been having is truck issues, but it seems like he has that figured out. Adam Anderson is back to his winning ways. He's got a little momentum on his side, and let's see what he can do with it.
Wildside Zach Garner is the highest placing independent driver on this series. He has found a rhythm that led to his first freestyle win of the season. Do you think we will continue to see Zach getting better as the season progresses?
Well, you know, for Zach Garner, he really is just kind of getting better and better on a slight incline, which I love to see. He's a rookie. He's got to get it figured out. There's so many different things he has to learn in the Stadium Series, from just figuring out how to get momentum and a good freestyle and all that stuff, but he's on top now.
Let's hear from the 2024 JCB Racing World Finals champion as we join Leslie Mears in this Northern Tool and Equipment pit report.
Yeah, coming into State Farm Stadium this weekend on the heels of his second career stadium freestyle. You know, Tampa was a bit of a rough go for you guys. And so how did you find it to kind of push it over the edge in freestyle to take that victory?
You know, after all those couple weeks of, you know, going out and laying down what I felt was a pretty good run, kind of getting lower scores, but then just going out and having some more fun after that. You know, my crew guy got on the headset halfway through my run and was like, you really need to step it up. It's kind of been a lame run. So listening to that just kind of pushed me over the edge just to really go have some fun, really send it out there. And we came out with a freestyle win, and I can't thank him enough for that.
Yeah, and this season has been pretty exciting for you. Good numbers and skills. Your racing is picking up. You know, do you feel like you're finally adjusted to the stadium?
You know, we're definitely starting to finally adjust. So being able to come out here and start to figure out this racetrack, I was really struggling with it because I'm used to like the arenas, tight turns, all that. I was really digging the berm track we had last year when we were here in Glendale. So being able to come out here with this new style track kind of took some getting used to, but coming out here now, we're ready to get after it and see what we can do.
Thank you, Leslie. Here's tonight's driver lineup for the West Series. Caleb Blood brings Sparkle Smash back to State Farm Stadium. We get Team Tom Fullery here as well. We'll get to the season point standings in just a second. Ryan Anderson, Tristan England battling for that series championship. Todd LeDuc on his home track. Bryce Kenny, Monster Mutt Colvin here as well with Black Pearl. And here are your current season point standings entering round 11. Tristan England with a 29-point lead over Ryan Anderson. Todd LeDuc in third, Bryce Kenny in fourth, Adam Anderson in fifth, but there is Zach Garner right on his tail in that sixth spot with 174 points. So a great battle on this series all season long. Drivers will compete tonight in 3 competitions: JCB Racing, the Skills Challenge, and Freestyle. Points awarded based on finish. The driver with the most points at the end of the event is crowned overall event champion. It's time for track talk. With more on this track, let's head down to Leslie.
So during practice, the track really developed out there, and they saw blue groove going into the corners and ruts coming out. Every driver that I talk to is worried about this and is going to have a mindful eye on it as the track develops through each race.
Adam, you've been on this track many times in your Supercross career. Talk a little bit about what Leslie said.
You know, one of the biggest things for me in my experience is that here in Arizona, the dirt is not the best. It's a very deserty, hard-packed dirt, so they tend to overwater the heck out of the track. They are gonna water this thing so much, it's gonna be very muddy at the beginning, and then you're gonna see that blue groove come up, especially where they're not accelerating. Right now, coming out of the corners, you're gonna see those acceleration ruts from those BKTs hooking up, but the big, major factor is how big this floor is gonna be here in Glendale.
Take a look at our JCB Racing bracket. The round 2 buys go to JCB Diggatron, Megalodon, Son of a Digger, and Monster Mutt. We do get that father-son matchup in round 1 between Wildside and El Toro Loco.
Yeah, you gotta love that. So much competition there. Zach got the better of him, but let's see if Jamie can get the best this time.
Well, let's go down to the track here tonight for the first race of the night. It's gonna be Adam Anderson, Gravedigger in the gray lane. Matt Pagliarulo, Jester in the red lane, so we get a great look to see which lane is the dominant lane here so far. Lane choice, of course, will become a factor in that second round. We are off and running at State Farm Stadium. Adam Anderson bounces off the pod, and Matt Pagliarulo with the lead in that first corner.
Yeah, it looks like Matt has a good lead here, but he cut that turn a little sharp, has to go wide in the center of the corner, and then he hits the pod coming into turn 3.
He goes way wide, almost clips the backflip ramp. Adam Anderson gets a groove going to the finish, and Gravedigger gets the win. Here's the original Super Glue to the action replay.
Now watch right here, you're gonna see him slow down just the slightest bit. That front left BKT grabs the pod, it pushes him all the way out to that backflip container. That is not what you wanna do.
Now, Matt Pagliarulo got way wide there. Here's Mike Pagliarulo and Excalibur, Caleb Blood, and Sparkle Smash. More on this race. We check in with Leslie.
Yeah, guys, speaking of that blue groove, Mike Pagliarulo told me that he's going to adjust his driving style because of that. And so instead of trying to drift around those corners, he's really going to kind of stop, short, turn, shoot, and turn to try to avoid it.
Now, he did that just there on the gray lane, but he went too wide on that ramp, and that has cost him some seconds here. And Mike Pagliarulo now catches up on the red side and takes the win. So we're seeing that red turn lane, Adam, become something of a fast buzz here for our drivers.
Yeah, it's definitely going on, but as we look at Caleb Blood, wow, the track is very, very watered. It's gonna be fun for these drivers tonight.
Jamie Gardner, El Toro Loco, and he is in that red lane. Zach Gardner, Wildside. Here's a matchup we talked about, Adam, the father and the son. Zach has won their only meeting so far this year. Some big air off the ramp for Wildside, and that's going to cost him to go into the other race lane.
Yeah, Wildside goes way wide, makes an unfortunate mistake because the track is so slippery out there.
Now he's got to get out of the way of El Toro Loco. And there is Jamie Gardner, and he is going to spin it around in a donut. He knows how close his son was, so Jamie Gardner's got to take a little extra time, realizes he's got to get across the finish line still. So we will have to see El Toro Loco finish this race as Wildside is now off the track. Finally, El Toro Loco coming up over that race ramp, gingerly saved that power, and El Toro Loco advancing with a time of 37.219. Here's the original Super Glue to the action replay.
Well, you're going to see Zach come up short here. He gets a bad bounce, has to throw on the brakes, pushing him in the wrong direction, and then El Toro Loco gets into a slide, ends up doing a donut. A little bit of celebration there.
Our last round one matchup, Colvinard Black Pearl lining up against Nick Pagliarulo, and Kraken Cole does have a win in his career at State Farm Stadium. Both of them taking a nice narrow turn there in that corner.
Yeah, it looks like Kraken is definitely learning. He's slowing down just a little bit. Colvinard pushes wide. Kraken has a slight advantage here.
In that final corner, Colvinard, a nice lane there for the Black Pearl, though he almost clips the pod, and that opens it up for Nick Pagliarulo, but he goes off the race ramp to the side.
We're gonna have to look at this replay. Watch Nick's right front tire. It looks like he might have been off the side of the ramp, but they give it to him.
Nick Pagliarulo, Kraken going to advance. And we're going to take a look at our bracket here for round two. JCB Digatron versus Kraken, Megalodon Gravedigger, Son of a Digger versus Excalibur, Monster Mud versus El Toro Loco. Excalibur fastest time in round one. Coming up, longtime rivals open round two. It's LeDuc versus Anderson when we return with more Primetime. Monster Jam is brought to you by JCB, the official heavy equipment partner of Monster Jam. We are back in the Arizona desert at State Farm Stadium for round two of JCB Racing. And up first in round two, Todd LeDuc in Megalodon, the hometown boy, against Adam Anderson in Gravedigger. We'll see how Todd LeDuc reacts to that red lane. Gravedigger off the line a little faster than Megalodon, and both drivers coming around into that turn.
Wow, great set in that first corner from Todd LeDuc. Looks like he just has a slight advantage, but this last corner on the red side is better. Let's see if Adam Anderson can make up the time.
Todd with a nice lane, but Adam Anderson just too strong and too fast here in round two. Gravedigger advancing. Here's the original Super Glue to the action replay.
Yeah, it just looks like the red side in that last corner is developing a little bit better. Gravedigger coming away with a nice win.
Fastest time of the night so far. Here is Son of a Digger versus Excalibur. Let's check back in with Leslie Mears.
So Ryan Anderson told his crew chief when he went out for introductions that it was very, very slippery out there, and that they made their lane choice determination by how many wins from the first round had come out of that lane. That's why they're where they are.
Son of a Digger has a lead right now. Ryan Anderson, 25-6 in his career at State Farm Stadium. Looking for another one here. Goes a little wonky, but he gets back in that center lane, taking the win. Here's the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
Looks like Mike just pushes a little wide here. He cuts in tight, but it forces him because the angle that he had on that corner, he had to push wide, giving Ryan Anderson an advantage. It's not what you want to do if you want to win the race.
We got Bryce Kenny and Monster Mutt lined up in the gray lane. There is El Toro Loco getting taken out to the back pit area. That means Kayla Blood and Sparkle Smash gets another opportunity here. She had the fastest time of a non-winning driver in round one, so she comes back here and is going to meet Bryce Kenny in Monster Mutt. Always got to be ready. Kayla Blood is ready. She is lined up on the red lane, and here we go. Monster Mutt off the line. First big air off the pod for Bryce Kenny and into the corner. Nice angle for Monster Mutt.
Great job from Kayla Blood, too. She seems to be taking it nice and tight. They're just about even. I would give a slight advantage to Monster Mutt, but again, this last corner, slightly better.
And Monster Mutt does get the win on the push across the red ramp, 21.032. Here's the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
Yeah, Kayla Blood gets off into that cushion. You can see some of that dry dirt coming up here in Arizona. It's going to be tough for these drivers tonight.
Here's the series points leader, Tristan England, JCB Digatron against Nick Pagliarulo in Kraken. And it is Digatron with a strong start on the gray lane. Now heading into that corner, the tight angle there, clipping the pod a little bit as Kraken Digatron out on a drift.
Yeah, Kraken knows what is at stake here. He tried to take it a little too tight, grab the pod, see if he can make it up in the last corner.
Tristan England on a wide angle gets across the red ramp, about a half a truck win there for JCB Digatron. Check out the Super Glue replay.
All these drivers getting into those low 21s. You can see Kraken here grabs the pod with the left front BKT, and then this is the last corner. He's got a good slide going, but those BKTs hook up. It kind of swaps the truck out over the finish line. Unfortunate end for Kraken here tonight.
Right there by that log on the pod. Let's take a look here at our bracket moving into semifinals. JCB Digatron, Gravedigger, Son of a Digger versus Monster Mutt. Fastest time of the night so far. Gravedigger 21.004. Coming up for the top 5 drivers in the series points race, square off in the semifinals. That's next on Primetime. Monster Jam is brought to you by the Utah Sports Commission. Utah, the state of sports. Salt Lake City, Utah is the home of Monster Jam World Finals 24. Tonight's home is Glendale, Arizona, where we've reached the JCB Racing semifinals at State Farm Stadium. It's Ryan Anderson, Son of a Digger, Bryce Kenny in Monster Mutt. For more on Bryce's lane choice, let's hear from Leslie.
When Bryce chose the gray lane, he thought that the red finish was going to be the toughest part. So he's like, I want to hit that last so I can really power through, so I know it's like for the next round. But then he ended up getting lane choice, so he's sticking with the gray because he had the fastest time there.
Yeah, and the red finish seems to be the strongest part of this racetrack here, but Ryan Anderson doesn't matter for him. He's got that gray lane dialed in on the finish, and Son of a Digger moving on. Here's the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
Yeah, that's all about your mental state, just making it happen. You can see here, look at the dry dirt coming up here in Glendale. That's definitely going to be a factor in this final race, but Ryan Anderson coming away with a big win.
20.361 is the time for Son of a Digger. Adam Anderson in Gravedigger going up against Tristan England and JCB Digatron. Gravedigger, gray lane. Digatron in the red lane. Big time air for Gravedigger. Again, that gray side seems to be elevating the trucks a lot more higher than the red side on the start.
Yeah, it looks like Adam Anderson gets a big bounce off that first starting race ramp.
Oh, he goes on the side.
Anderson!
Gravedigger came off that ramp too hard, overdoes it, and ends up on the far side of this track. Tristan England moving on in JCB Digatron. Here's the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
Adam Anderson looks like he goes off the side of that race ramp, pushes to the left, gets a little swap, tries to make the turn, but the BKTs hook up just too much, and an aggressive flip for Gravedigger. Gonna put him out of this racing bracket.
JCB Racing finals are now set. Ryan Anderson is Son of a Digger with lane choice against Tristan England in JCB Digatron. They are 1 and 2 so far in the series points. Ryan's time last round 20.361. So there is JCB Digatron lined up in the gray lane. Son of a Digger takes the red lane. And we will see who gets racing dominance here. Ryan Anderson's been all over the racetrack this season, winning most of them. And we are now into that second corner here. Son of a Digger with the lead.
Yeah, big bounce for Tristan England and then goes wide in that corner. Goes off the side of the race ramp. This is all Ryan Anderson.
Got to finish it strong. Here's son of a digger across the finish line. Ryan Anderson gets another racing win. Here's the original super glue glued to the action replay.
Yeah, Tristan England gets a 5-second penalty. He knew it from the get. Right here, Tristan makes that small mistake, gets a big bounce, pushes wide here. Look at the floor coming up. I think that's a little bit of concrete showing, and then goes off the side of the finish line race ramp, getting a 5-second penalty. This one's all Ryan Anderson.
Ryan, it's a 6th racing win of the season. He is standing by with Leslie Mears.
Really unique situation for you. You couldn't watch the track out there. How much did Bryce play a role in telling you about track conditions and what was going on out there and to help you out?
100%. We luckily got to stage one round in front, so I got to see it a little bit in person, but if it wasn't for Bryce in my ear telling me what was going down, I wouldn't have had any idea. Obviously, when I went out there for intros, I felt the track was super overwatered. It was really slick, but it was consistent at least. Well, then we're in the desert, man, so this stuff's pretty dried out, so it started getting dry patches. We'd get down past the water into a dusty, dry spot, and it was pretty wild. But the only thing I knew to do was commit, sling it in there, and stay in the throttle, and it happened to work out for me.
Working out for him all season long. He's got 12 points as he sits atop the first BKT overall point standings tonight. JC Bidigatron in 2nd, Monster Mutt in 3rd, Gravedigger in 4th, and Megalodon currently in 5th. Next up in Glendale was a Monster Jam Skills Challenge. Drivers could attempt 2 technical maneuvers on 2 wheels or opt to do a donut, and each driver was scored equally by an expert judge and fans in attendance on creativity, skill, and execution. With 12 points on the line, let's take a look back at our top 5 Covenant Fit Zach Garner in Wildside.
Off the backflip container, pops it up, walks it out, and he's gonna set it down.
Bryce Getty taking the same backflip ramp, this time bounces it a little bit in Monster Mutt.
Little bit more technical here for Monster Mutt. You can see him kind of go back and forth using that throttle, and then gets a little moonwalk combination.
Adam Anderson with the back 2 wheels on the trench box.
This is what we love to see in Monster Jam, creativity, something different. He did this at a prior event, but these fans have not seen it yet. You're gonna see a big score for Adam Anderson, sets it down.
And Ryan Anderson going a different route, big time bicycle here for son of a digger.
Gotta love that. This is Ryan Anderson's specialty, bicycle to cyclone.
Finally, Tristan England getting another win, putting on another clinic here in the Skills Challenge.
Gets it up on 2 wheels, gets the nose wheelie. Oh, throws a little rear steer and a happy dance in there.
Camera side.
I love that. Gets the combination move back onto the pod, sets it on the bumper, and then let's see if he can walk it down this pod for a little bit extra.
9.372 gets the win. He has 12 points in his total. Tristan England with 23 points on top of the latest BKT overall event leaderboard. Son of a digger tied there as well. Gravedigger and Monster Mutt tied with 19 apiece, and Excalibur with 14 sits in that 5th spot. This is Tristan's 5th skills win of the season. And after the competition, he spoke with our pit reporter Leslie Mears about his big Glendale win.
We saw how slick the track conditions were out there. Were you a little worried that you weren't going to be able to pull it off tonight?
Yeah, you know, I didn't think that I could. I mean, coming out here and racing, I felt really comfortable with the dirt and the way the slick conditions were, because you could just throw that 12,000-pound machine into the corner and hope for the best. It's fun. Made it to the final with my buddy Ryan. And then I even saw him do a crazy maneuver with the bicycle, got up on the sidewalls, crazy spins, and he still didn't get the win, but that's okay. We'll take it. We'll take it. But hey, I'm excited for freestyle. My shocks hadn't been how they wanted to be the past 2 weekends. People are giving me that camaraderie in the locker room, telling me I need to bring it. I need to pick my pace up. So I'm thinking, man, I'm in the lead. What more pace do I need to pick up? But I'm going to have fun tonight because I know my son's watching and my wife, and we're going to have a good time.
1 and 2 on the series, or 1 and 2 here. England and Anderson continue to fight for the event championship next on Primetime. Monster Jam is proud to partner with and support St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Visit monsterjam.com/St. Jude to learn how you can join us in the fight against childhood cancer. We are back in beautiful Glendale, Arizona with Stadium Championship Series West. And welcome back to Monster Jam Primetime. The action is heating up in the Arizona sun as Tristan England and Ryan Anderson continue to trade punches in these competitions. Adam, it feels like we have seen a pattern develop on this series with Ryan winning racing and Tristan getting skills.
We have definitely seen a pattern getting started. Ryan Anderson is one of the best racers, and he's proved that time and time again, but he seems to falter just a little bit in two-wheel skills, and that's where Tristan England is very successful. Now, I do think Tristan England has a little bit of that momentum carrying into freestyle, and it seems like he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Realistically, only two other drivers here have a shot at winning the event championship, Bryce Kenny and Adam Anderson. Of those two, who do you think poses the biggest threat tonight?
You know, I got to go with Adam Anderson. He has so much momentum from those Tampa rounds, but Bryce Kenny, he's been very solid, and I look forward to see what he has tonight. We got to look at that freestyle order.
To catch up with the current BKT overall point standings, first 23 is the point total to beat. JC Vidigatron, son of a digger, then Gravedigger, Monster Mud, and Excalibur in that 5th position. Here is tonight's freestyle order. Monster Mutt is going to kick it off, Adam, so there you go. And then you have Gravedigger in that 11th spot, Ryan Anderson 6th, Tristan England 9th, so very much spread out here among the event leaders.
Yeah, but I cannot take my eyes off of where Monster Mutt is at. What an opportunity. Big backflip, big wow moment coming up.
Where Monster Mutt is at is right here, kicking us off out of Curtisville, North Carolina. The 2024 Lucas Oil Extreme Air Award winner, Bryce Kenny. Monster Mutt with more on Bryce. Let's go to Leslie.
Bryce Kenny's had some terrible luck in freestyle with some early breakage ending his run before he can get to even that 60-second mark. And he told me today it's really about, do I win in freestyle or did the truck win? And so for him, it's really about going out there, filling the time, playing it smart, driving hard, but not so hard that the truck breaks before he can do all of the elements that he needs to get a valid score in freestyle.
All right, thank you, Leslie. So Bryce Kenny here battling for the event championship in freestyle. He has had an up and down freestyle season. As we look at our criteria, 30 seconds to qualify, failure to complete 1 minute of the run gets a point off their score. You got to use obstacles, and then fans scoring as well as the expert judge equally scoring our athletes here. But Bryce has been in that go big or go home. He has got some major freestyle runs here, probably award nominations coming his way. But then there's been some runs, Adam, where the truck just has not cooperated, and he's eliminated early.
Yeah, and that's what Leslie was talking about, that balance. It's so key in life, and it's also so key in Monster Jam. And the balance for Bryce Kenny is finding out, okay, where can I go big? Where do I kind of got to lift off the throttle and make sure I preserve the truck for a certain amount of time? Which ramp can I hit? Where can I get the big air where it's going to be safe for me and I don't break the truck? These are the conversations he's having with himself.
Morgan backflip here from Monster Mud. First one of the night right out the gate. First competitor into
the combination!
Combination. Bryce had a long way to go to get to that backflip ramp. He hits it hard.
Oh,
and there's some
huge
big
air
from the Lucas Oil Extreme Air Award winner right off the pod. And Bryce Kenny feeling it tonight in Glendale.
Wow, is he feeling it? That was an extreme award-winning air for sure. Then Bryce Kenny back onto the pod. A huge
He's
crash.
going over. Maybe the save of the night if he can land it. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that is going to happen.
Trying.
He is still trying. That transmission is done. And Bryce Kenny, those wheels still turning. Let's take a look at the original super glue glued to the action replay. What a run.
Wow. Bryce Kenny on the backflip container. Great execution. Lands it perfectly. Gets the rear to bounce up. Those BKTs just hooking up perfectly. And then a huge jump onto the pod. Comes in a little nose heavy. Knows there's going to be something afterwards and gets a huge crash. These fans are on their feet.
Bryce Kenny with a big score, 9.130. Out next from Peoria, Arizona, Todd LeDuc driving Megalodon. It's not been a strong night for Todd on his home track. And with an update on LeDuc, we go right back to Leslie Mears.
When you're having trouble, you got to dig deep to find an answer. And that's exactly what Todd LeDuc is doing. He went back all the way to the setup for his shocks on Blue Thunder to bring that out for this weekend here in Glendale. He just hasn't found the right combination with all the adjustments all year. And so he thinks that going back to the basics, what worked for him in Blue Thunder, is going to be the ticket for him tonight.
All right, thank you, Liz. It's the 11th time he has started on this track. He does have 2 freestyle wins here. He's won 2 overall wins here, so he does have a lot of history and success on this track, but it's all about tonight and what can you do here in freestyle to win.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think that's what Todd LeDuc has in mind, and that's why he went back to that Blue Thunder setup. There's been many times in my career that we get so far from our base setting, we don't really know where we're at. And with Blue Thunder, he's had a lot of success. So going back to that suspension package is going to give him a lot of confidence and the know that he's gotten it done before.
He has never lacked confidence, as it shows here. The Morgan backflip from Megalodon. The shark goes up, the shark comes down. And Todd LeDuc is not done yet. Here's where he earns his money off the step up with a LeDuc leap onto the pod. And Megalodon is still on all 4 BKT tires.
Yeah, it looks like the truck is reacting very well to that big bounce off that huge air Todd just did. He's going to be feeling more and more confident. Let's see if he can ramp this thing up. Very similar to what Bryce Kenny did. Can he make the save? And he does.
Continues to go shooting the gap a little bit. We saw the LeDuc loop, then we see the LeDuc leap. And Megalodon feeling it right now, trying to take the freestyle win away from Monster Mud. And now Todd lining
it up. A nice air onto the pod.
Another huge jump.
Oh,
this time he's going over all the way across the track. He's going to land it right there, and he's going to make the save. Todd LeDuc with the save of the night so far. And Megalodon continuing on with his freestyle run.
Wow, this is one of those runs we're going to talk about for a while. Todd LeDuc making a big save.
Let's take a look at the original Super Glue. Glued to the action replay.
Here's the backflip. Great height off the backflip, hits the throttle right at the right time. Doesn't execute the combination move, but a huge air onto the pod. Look at the size of that rebound, and then somehow parks the truck sideways there and then powers out of it.
Monster Mud is still on top of the leaderboard for now, but we're just getting started. More freestyle is on the way next on Primetime. Welcome back to round 11 of Monster Jam. Today's festivities kicked off with the most family-oriented pit party in motorsports as fans arrived early to State Farm Stadium where they met their favorite drivers and saw the trucks. And if you want to attend the pit party at your next Monster Jam event, get your tickets at monsterjam.com. During the break, freestyle continued with Matt Pagliarulo. Jester left some time on the clock, and he earns a score of 5.792. And then Covenard Black Pearl attempts to backflip out of but can't stick the landing.
Yeah, it looks like he just doesn't give it quite enough throttle, under rotates, and that will cut him short.
Up next at Osteen, Florida, Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken, the former Monster Jam Rookie of the Year. He's only competed in freestyle here twice. He missed his third competition. He's finished in last place both times, so not a whole lot of success here in Glendale.
Yeah, and that's really tough as a driver. You know, you try to get it together, you try to have fun at a certain stadium, but when you come to a venue or an event or past events and you haven't been doing well, it's just so hard to turn that momentum and energy around. But you can do it. You make a few changes, you look forward, and you try to put your best foot forward and get it done.
Kraken to get over the car, so big air floats it off to the left, is able to get the truck stable. When you talk about this track, Adam, with the blue groove and you see the dry dirt, it's the traction on the BKT tires that helps both of those surfaces. It is allowing the drivers to get some momentum and get some air here.
Yeah, big air, and to what you were talking about, definitely, you know, the BKT tires are going to help so much, but it's really up to the driver to be able to see what's going on, see where it's a little bit muddy, see where it's more dry, because the BKTs are going to make it more consistent going over all the terrain, but it's really your throttle control that's going to play the biggest part.
Backflip attempt here, Morgan backflip for Kraken. Nick Pagliarulo drives the truck into the ramp, and he's able to get it around fast and land it. Kraken in reverse now, trying to beat that 9.130, and now Nick Pagliarulo going to try to feel it right here. Big air for the former Rookie of the Year. And he's going to try to save it here, but he is not going to be able to get the truck back on all 4 BKTs, and that one wheel just wants to keep going here, but that truck is in shambles on the track. Take a look at the original Super Glue Blue to the action replay.
Here's the backflip. He comes in really slow, hits the gas hard. That's why he gets that low backflip. Great fast rotation, but let's look at this last jump. So he hits right here. Now watch that front wheel. It looks like that inner or outer axle breaks right at the wrong time, and that's why he didn't get the drive to flip it back over.
Here's Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger. Ryan always singing the praises of his crew chief, Bryce Langlois, and with more on that relationship, let's hear from Leslie Mears.
We all know it takes a special relationship between crew chief and driver to make it happen out there on the track, and Ryan Anderson really relying on Bryce Langlois in freestyle as well. He's got him watching these jumps on this end. He said they look a little steep. It might be hard to incorporate, and the risk might not be worth the reward. He's also got him watching the car stacks out there because he didn't get to see any of freestyle. He said there's a lot of stuff out there to hit, but just not sure how to hit it because he hasn't seen anybody else do it. So he's going in a little bit blind, but with the watchful eyes of his crew chief, he's got great intel on the track and knows from his eyes what it's going to be like since he's out there.
Thank you, Lizzie. We always hear drivers talking about the crew chief. I don't think anybody raves more about his crew chief than Ryan Anderson. Always talking about Bryce, giving Bryce the credit for nearly everything he does on the track.
Yeah, and that's just that partnership and that longevity that they've had together. It makes such a big difference when you're happy with the guy that's speaking to you in your ear. Nice wheelie there, getting that thing 90 degrees up in the air. But it brings so much confidence as a driver, as a rider, to know that your crew chief or your mechanic is on top of it and always doing what you want done.
Son of a digger means business, going all the way across the track. Morgan to Morgan, backflip for Ryan Anderson. Big backflip, big bounce on the landing, and Ryan Anderson is nowhere near being done here in this freestyle run.
Huge air onto the pod. Let's see how the bounce goes.
Comes up into a wheelie right back over that ramp, and Son of a digger still going here. Now as he reaches this side of the track, a lot of room here in Glendale. You mentioned that earlier, a lot of space to get that throttle rhythm down, to get the momentum and get the speed you need to make something happen. And that's exactly what Ryan Anderson has done tonight. Take a look at the original super glue, glued to the action replay.
Great run from Ryan Anderson. You see the in-cab view of the backflip, the rotation going on. Great style from Ryan Anderson, and then a huge air, gets those front wheels turned to try to level the truck out just a bit, gets a great bounce there, but I'm sure not the score he was looking for.
Yeah, not a great score there. Ryan's asking what? Don't touch that dial. Freestyle continues next on Monster Jam Primetime from Glendale, Arizona. We'll be right back. Monster Jam is brought to you by Spin Master. Crush it, crash it, jam it. Welcome back to Monster Jam at State Farm Stadium. During the break, freestyle action continued with Caleb Blood in Sparkle Smash, but the truck rolls over right here, Adam.
Yeah, we've seen this all night long, just a big bounce, and then you get into that scary zone, try to collect yourself, but Caleb Blood's run is coming to a close.
And then Jamie Gardner and Toro Loco, the struggles continue here.
Yeah, it looks like Jamie Gardner, unfortunately, having some mechanical issues. Going to come to a stop.
Up next, the 2023 World Finals Racing Champion Tristan England, JCB Digatrani, is tied for the overall event lead. And with more on Tristan and the JCB team, let's head back down to Leslie.
It's the first time for Tristan England as a competitor here at State Farm Stadium, but he's got a lot of history here. Once upon a time, he was actually a recovery driver here for Monster Jam, getting in the trucks and taking the trucks off the track for drivers. And then he got to see Dennis Anderson in his final competition here at State Farm Stadium. So with all that history behind him, he's excited to see what he can put in the books for himself.
That's an incredible story, especially Tristan England, a second-generation driver, has been around the sport his whole life. To have that kind of a special attraction here to a city and a stadium, and now he is here performing. He has a chance to win a championship in this very same building.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those full circle moments that you dream of as a kid. And Tristan England living out that dream, one of the very, very lucky people in their lives to be able to do that. But Tristan England, he has this opportunity for a reason. He's one of the most talented drivers in Monster Jam. He's studied it. He's been behind the scenes. He knows how everything works. And I really do believe that's what makes a great athlete and great Monster Jam driver, is knowing every aspect of what goes on and how it works.
Morgan backflip attempt here for JCB Digatron. Tristan England spinning the truck around 360 right into a moonwalk on the backside. And this is where the kid from Paris, Texas excels, getting that skills move in. Does not need to win freestyle to win the event. Just a fourth place finish. Huge air for JCB Digatron.
I mean, that was just a display of talent like we have not seen on this series yet. He paused it. I mean, having the control in that backflip scenario to get that thing stopped get it 90 degrees up, and then get the second combination to walk it then forward is unbelievable. This is going to be a monumental score for Tristan England.
He has the highest freestyle average on this series, just one win so far in 2025. Gets the truck back up over that pod again, just clawing his way from one side of the track to another. And that is going to do it. He's going to sit up on that pod, that ramp, and he is going to get the fans on their feet. He's going to get them applauding. And that is a great run there for Tristan England. Take a look at the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
A nice air here, and then he's going to get that little side-to-side dance going on. There's one BKT hooking up to the next BKT hooking up. What a move from Tristan England. And then here's that backflip. Let's watch this thing one more time. He's going to hit on those rear, pop it up, get the moonwalk going on, right? And then he's going to transfer that weight, and he's going to stop it to where he can go then forward once again. The amount of skill going into that is unbelievable.
9.246. There is your new leader, and he may have very well won the overall event championship with that run. Here is 2024 co-rookie of the year, Mike Pagliarulo in Excalibur. And Mike starts it right away over the car stack, transfers up over the pod again, a little wobbly on the landing, is able to get that truck back to where he needs it. And now we'll see what Excalibur can do.
I love how he started out very aggressive in this run. He's definitely going to have to trying to follow up Tristan England, keep the crowd on their feet, keep that momentum going. It's definitely going to be a difficult run to follow up, but Excalibur can get it done.
Freestyle win in Miami on the season. This is his debut in Glendale. Excalibur, one of the most storied trucks in Monster Jam history, and the monster truck industry as a whole, now back where it belongs in Monster Jam at the home of Team Tomfoolery in Osteen, Florida.
Nice air, nice landing. I love the control that he had coming off that pod. He's going to throw it into a donut. BKT slinging off the dirt.
We've seen a lot of powerful donuts so far tonight in both freestyle, and we saw one in racing as well.
Yeah, I think that has to do with the dirt on the floor, allowing these drivers to really get the rear of that truck loose. Donut availability is high tonight.
9.246 is the score to beat. JCB Digatron just took over the lead in freestyle. Excalibur now looked like he was going to head for the backflip ramp, but some smoke coming out of the back end. They're telling him to refire.
This is one of those things where it just kills your momentum.
He's going to go right back here for the Morgan & Morgan backflip. So here comes Excalibur, going to try to make something this run. Stop short again, so another momentum killer here, Adam. We'll see if he can finally chip away to get in there. Not a whole lot of power, but he's still able to pull it off anyway. Right into a moonwalk.
It's the combination. That's what we want. And then let's see if he can finish with a big wow moment here.
That's when you make something out of nothing. Mike Pagliarulo showing you why he's a rookie of the year. That'll do it for Excalibur. Take a look at the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
Here's that backflip once again. Great rotation, great truck awareness to be able to keep the tires turned like that and make sure he didn't run into that container.
Here's the current freestyle leaderboard. JCB Digatron with the lead, Monster Mutt in second, Megalodon third, Sunday fourth, and Excalibur just took over that fifth spot. It's been a wild freestyle competition run so far. 2 more trucks remain, and Tristan England has the event championship in his grasp. Can he hold on to Glendale? Find out next on Monster Jam Primetime. We are back with the conclusion of freestyle here at State Farm Stadium in Glendale. And we continue the competition with a 5-time World Finals champion, Adam Anderson in Gravedigger. He came into freestyle trailing the overall event lead by 4, but Tristan with the freestyle lead is all but locked up the overall event championship. But still, Adam Anderson has that momentum. We talked about the 2 back-to-back event wins. A freestyle win here could go a long way in keeping the momentum with Team Gravedigger.
Yeah, and that's what he needs to keep that momentum going. That way, he doesn't think it's a fluke and nobody else thinks it's a fluke. In racing, in competition, there's one thing to make you believe and give yourself confidence, but it's also a whole nother thing to demoralize the competition and let them know that you're here to win and you are on a streak. And for Adam Anderson right now, it is crucial for him to come away with a big win here in freestyle to keep that momentum going in his direction.
And I know you called me out earlier. I'm going to call you out here. When Adam Anderson wins, it's not a fluke.
It is not a fluke.
In his 9 previous Glendale starts, he has 3 event championships here, 3 freestyle wins here. He's always done well. The Anderson family has always done well in Glendale. As we see a wheelie right back on that wheelie bar tombstone for Adam Anderson.
Yeah, we love to see him walk it out like that and then keep the momentum going. Back-to-back wheelies there. See if he can get a little bit more speed coming up here towards the end of the run.
9.246 is the score to beat. There's some air for Gravedigger. Adam Anderson starting to feel it.
Oh, and another big air!
Goes off to the left. I don't know how he hit that with that much momentum on that landing, but he just soared Gravedigger into the sky here at State Farm Stadium.
Yeah, we are definitely getting a little bit of that ragged edge action that we love to see from Gravedigger. He's getting on the throttle right when I said he needs a little more momentum towards the end of the run. He gives it to us. Adam Anderson gets a little cattywampus there.
Gets a little too much on
the tie rod hanging out on the track.
Just absolutely threw itself across the track as we take a look at the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
Here's that jump right here. He's going to come over the top, get a little huck-a-buck, have an opportunity to get that thing up 90 degrees, and then watch the tie rod on the front right here. Kapow! It's going to come off. Oh, it looks like that's a 4-link, actually.
You just said huck-a-buck and kapow in the same freestyle run. I'm not sure what that means, but we'll go with it. Our final competitor is last round's freestyle winner, Zach Garner in Wild Side. He would love to go huck-a-buck right here and win another freestyle.
Yeah, for Zach, he really has been just progressing at a very steady, good pace as a rookie, and that's something you want to see. You know, sometimes you have these really big highs that come quickly, and then you have a really low for too long. And it seems like Zach Garner is just steadily getting better and better, and that's exactly what we want to see out of a rookie. Now, can he keep that momentum going from that freestyle win? We'll have to wait and see.
Best freestyle finish in this building was second last year. He also finished second in the event, so he does have some experience on this dirt, as he did talk about earlier. But we're seeing the faces of these ramps just absolutely getting destroyed as Zach Garner tried to get the air over the car stack, grazes it with that back wheel. And here comes Wild Side again. Nice brake check, gets it back down across the ramp.
Definitely has some good momentum going here.
Going to turn this thing into the Morgan & Morgan backflip ramp. We'll try to hear that throttle rhythm as Wild Side approaches. It comes in hot, and Wild Side gets up again. Zach Garner roosted a little dirt there on that landing. Here comes Wild Side. He's got the whole track in front of him. And Zach Garner going to look for some big air here.
Some huge air onto the pod. Oh, and the wheel's
we got a wheel out on the track. We saw the tie rod go first on Gravedigger, and the wheel's still going at Glendale.
Oh, it's off for its own adventure. BKT is hooking up. Wow, what a run, what a moment.
Let's take a look at the original Super Glue. Glued to the action replay, flying wheels going on.
Looks like he lands a little hard on that left rear tire, and then the next jump right after that, the whole wheel comes flying off.
Here's our final freestyle top 5. JCB Digatron gets the win with a 9.246. Monster Mud in second. Wild Side in third. Megalodon in fourth. And Son of a Digger finishes out in that 5th position on the freestyle leaderboard. The 12 points for Tristan England as we check out our final BKT overall point standings. He's going to win it with 35. Son of a Digger gets 31. Monster Mutt with 30. Gravedigger with 26. And still a solid night for Excalibur with 20 points in that 5th spot. Tristan picks up his 2nd freestyle win and his 4th overall event championship of the season. Let's go down and join Leslie in our winner.
The most points posted yet on this tour this season. We can't talk about the overall yet. We have to talk about freestyle. You told me tonight that you felt that it was coming on. What kind of gave you that feeling?
I don't know. Joe and I have been talking about this. Even Dustin, too. He's not here with us this week. He's hanging out with his family, enjoying birthday party. But Joe knew exactly what settings to put in this truck. He's been on this team already a whole year. I had no second guesses with this guy in my ear, and we had an absolute blast. Shocks work. I'm excited. He's excited. We're rolling into Anaheim, still on top. But to shut out the Andersons right here in Glendale, man, it was awesome. They're known here. I'm not even known here yet. So we came out here and we showed up, we showed out. But hey, it's just the beginning. We're having fun.
Definitely leaving his mark on the history of Glendale.
A pretty sure Tristan is known here now after that win.
Yes, he is.
This series, though, far from over. Once again, Tristan England appears primed and ready for his first Stadium Series championship and a run at another World Finals title.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. The aura coming off of Tristan England, the cool, calm, and collectedness that he is having. It's going to be a battle for this championship, and right now, Tristan looks good.
We'll stay with this series when we return to Angel Stadium at Anaheim for round 12. For Adam and Leslie, I'm Scott Jordan. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right here next time on Monster Jam Primetime.